It is now time for What's Hot, where we talk about the stories that have us all talking.
We are joined by Eric Paulsen from BizStarts Milwaukee, plus Jeff Wagner is back. All right, a video of Scott Walker just before he was elected governor has gone viral.
Yeah, during an interview with the editorial board of the Oshkosh Northwestern, he discussed his views on negotiating with unions.
We're talking about state employees contributing to their paying their share of the pension plan. Collective bargaining comes into that. How do you get that negotiated and accepted as state employees?
Yeah, you still have to negotiate it. I did at the county as well, where I've had some of my employee unions in.
Well, in the video, the governor goes on to say he planned to deal with collective bargaining and unions at the state level in the same way he dealt with it at the county level. And opponents of the governor say this dialogue proves that he misled voters. His backers say they still stand by him. Do you guys think this will impact voters?
What's Hot officially goes over to Walker derangement syndrome this afternoon. We say it's gone viral, but by going viral, if that means that among the lefty blogosphere people are passing it around, yes. If it means gone viral, as does anybody else care, the answer is no. There's no question when Walker ran for office, what he was talking about all sorts of different changes that he was going to make. And I guess at one point in time, he said, yeah, I'm going to consider negotiating. I'm sure that's one of the things they considered and then recognized it wouldn't work and they had to move on to plan B. Will this make any difference among people who hate Walker or like him or are still undecided? No.
Well, there aren't very many undecideds left. So I don't think this is going to make much of an impact. Walker supporters are going to say, hey, it was no use. The unions weren't going to want to negotiate with him anyway. And then the people who are against him, of course, they're going to make this as big of a deal as they possibly can. There's probably 2% left that are undecided, and they're probably also going to decide what happens in a recall election. But I don't think it's going to sway people much.
But this is ammunition for somebody to either make the point that the governor flip-flopped on this, or he was outright deceptive in what he said he was going to do and what he wound up doing.
Well, and so you have to understand what's going on now. You have these absolutely unhinged lefties, and what they're out there scurrying, trying to find anything that they possibly can that they can try to turn in and use for ammunition. Will some people try to do it? Yes. Do people care about this? The question is, do you believe that the collective bargaining reforms are working or not? I mean, this is the same sort of thing. This week it's going to be this. Next week it's going to be, oh, we've got new rumors that somebody was telling me today, I heard a rumor that he's going to resign because of the John Doe investigation. Again, it's Walker derangement.
That was wishful thinking on some people's part, I think.
Well, no, but it's what's going on out there. It's what this dynamic is.
But here's the other thing. So many politicians say they plan to do this, they plan to do that. They don't always follow through on both sides of the aisle. I mean, they're never held accountable to the extent that Scott Walker is for what he's been saying.
Right. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, though?
That's a bad thing, actually.
Another debate for another day.
All right, coming up next, advertisers and celebrities going after Rush Limbaugh after his controversial comments. Some radio stations are standing by him. What will the result of this firestorm be? We will discuss.
Now more of What's Hot.
Again, we are joined by Eric Paulsen from BizStarts Milwaukee and Jeff Wagner from News Radio 620 WTMJ. Jeff, one of your fellow talk show hosts out there, has apologized, Rush Limbaugh, for calling a Georgetown law student a slut and a prostitute. Since then, almost a dozen advertisers have defected from his program. Peter Gabriel has asked his song Sledgehammer no longer be used on the show. That's a blow right there. But most stations plan to continue carrying the program. How long will this firestorm last? I'm glad we got a couple of radio guys in here to talk about this today.
Okay, now first of all, in full disclosure, my program airs against the Rush Limbaugh show in the Milwaukee market. We do extremely well in Milwaukee compared to the Limbaugh show. Nationally, he's got about 13 million listeners. My guess is that this firestorm is going to, dissipate relatively quickly. Advertisers pulled away. My guess is, as long as he holds his audience nationally, there's going to be a lot more advertisers who are going to be willing to come forward and sign up. So I think this is going to kind of all blow over. That would be my guess.
What an idiotic move on his part. I mean, he's trying to make the point about who should pay, should government mandate who pays for birth control coverage and everything, and he manages to turn it into something personal and completely screw up his point and launch this firestorm. And I don't know, Jeff, I think people sense blood in the water. There's people who have been trying to get Rush Limbaugh off the air for 20 years. I think they sense an opportunity to do some serious damage. I think they're going to keep pushing.
Well, what's interesting to me, Eric, too, is it was such a dumb dumb thing to say, because I think the conservative side was really kind of winning this argument, but by going off like he does, you know, if you want to focus the argument of should religious institutions be forced to, you know, pay for things that are against the religion, I think that's an argument that a lot of people can relate to. When Limbaugh goes off and starts calling this girl these different names and things like that in a rant that really doesn't make too much sense, what he does is he undercuts the merits of the overall position. Now nobody's talking about the issue. People are talking about what Limbaugh said, and that's one of the things that's frustrating too.
It's what happens when you put too much emotion into your argument.
Yeah, but this was just a dumb analogy. I mean, you and I both sit in front of open microphones and talk all the time. I'm thinking, I watched this clip, I'm thinking, what is this guy, what point is he even trying to make? And candidly, it was lost on me.
That's why I stick to music radio.
As a woman, I'm incredibly offended. Those words are not, you know, good words, period. I don't care what your point is. But as a journalist, he's called a lot of attention to his show, and I think he's kind of like a political Howard Stern. As many people watch him because they don't like him as watch him because they do.
And the basis of the Rush Limbaugh sales pitch is, in order to be a star, you have to have half the people out there despising you. And you know, his supporters are behind him, and everybody else is despising him. So he's done it perfectly.
But I also wish that Bill Maher and Ed Scholz and some of these other guys on the other side that use those comments would be taken to task too.
Yeah, I think there's a double standard, but that doesn't deny the fact that Limbaugh crossed the line here.
Yes,
okay, no question about it.
Last topic. If you think privacy settings on your Facebook and Twitter accounts guarantee future employers or schools can't see your private post, you're going to want to guess again. Some colleges and employers are asking job applicants and student athletes to log in front of interviewers and show wall posts, friends, and photos that could be hidden by a privacy wall. So should employers and colleges be allowed to do this, guys?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
and that's it.
But it is. I mean, sure, of course. I mean, if they want to hire you, I mean, they want to do a background investigation, and their question is, hey, we want to know if there's something out there now, rather than 6 months from now when we find this out when somebody else makes it over the internet. I mean, look, the internet is a great thing. Bottom line, though, is what you post up there is up there forever, and yeah, I think they have every right to do it. And if you don't want to do it, then don't apply for the job there.
You are responsible for what you put on your Facebook page and things like that, but this opens the door to too many misinterpretations. I mean, there could be a picture of you and friends at a bar holding a beer, and they might think, hey, this person drinks all the time. I don't want to hire this person. Too much, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's a good idea.
Does this not open the door to an impingement on your privacy by your employer? Aren't we allowed to have personal lives outside of work?
Well, you are, but the employer also, I think, has the right to say, okay, I want to investigate this aspect. If you don't like it, I mean, there's no constitutional right to that sense. I mean, if you don't like it, don't work there. I mean, that's what they're saying. They're not doing it to average citizens. They're saying, you want to work for us? We want to know this. And I guess I don't see this as any different really than a background check.
And I'm awaiting the first lawsuit as a result of this. Gentlemen, thank you. We're taking a quick break, and we will be right back.